and summer road trips. Are you getting to your vacation spot comfortably, or is your car letting you down? Mullen Motors lot is full of great vehicles to take home, so you don't have to worry about your current car barely surviving another road trip. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride for summer road trips and beyond. Mullen Motors.
No tag-on, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
Can you guys just keep a straight face?
Yes.
I'm like,
yes.
yeah, but we'll try. Okay.
We're just three players talking. Come on, let's try this.
This is how the Sugar Hill. You're driving to Wichita, writing this down.
You're not helping anything.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. On the block with Strick and Austin.
Right, Matt Rule wants to be there. He wants to develop them. He wants to have coaches that have their hands on, are molding them and shaping them. And to your point, giving them the drills, giving them the tools to succeed. But I think Matt Rule is saying at the end of the day, the coaches can't want it more than the players.
Yeah.
The coaches
Because they can't
hold
get out
their
there and do
hand on
nothing.
the field.
Yeah, they can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
It's time to go one-on-one with DP. Coming at you live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios. Here is your host, Derek Pearson. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome to it. One-on-one. Lots to talk about with NFL camps, Huskers having a practice day in front of the masses. Lots of conversation about young quarterbacks and pressure. Can young quarterbacks lead? When is taking too much control too much too soon for young quarterbacks? And what's the expectation for coaches? So lots to talk about. 402-464-5685 if you have questions, whether it be Huskers, NFL, or otherwise. But first, if you would please, joining us on the live video streams, you can on Facebook, YouTube, X, etc. Harrison Orange, kind sir, light this man's fire.
The autumn wind is a pirate, blustering in from sea. With a rollicking song, he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a hooded sash with a silver hat about his head and a bristling black mustache. He growls as he storms the country, a villain big and bold. And the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them. The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
Every time.
Every single time. I always feel like The Rock when he says he's going backstage and he's standing at the curtain and they play his music and the goosebumps jump up on his arm. Because we're days closer, hours closer to football season. And even though we're in it from a practice standpoint and a building standpoint, just to say and know that, my goodness, meaningful things are happening in the football world. Barry Thompson, how are you, brother?
Hey, man, tomahawk steaks and haircuts, baby.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Tomahawk steaks and haircuts. You know what? I wouldn't be afraid of betting, Jay, But I wouldn't like losing to him because of the way he celebrates that daggone steak. You know what I mean? That would make me feel worse than the loss.
Out loud, right?
Yeah,
If
man.
He's gonna season it and tell you what you're missing.
Yeah. And then cooking the bones, like savoring the bones and putting them back in the oven for a while. I mean, that would just hurt my feelings.
Yeah, but that's kind of what linebackers do.
Yeah,
that's kind of the deal. Look, you got to carry that. You can't lead the NFL in tackles without that kind of venom.
Yeah.
You're carrying that around, man. Barry, lots of the talk. I want to start local here.
Okay.
In that some of the conversation around Caleb Williams was the fact that he was making noise in the locker room, kind of saying, hey, listen, there's a standard we need to set.
Right.
And watching the Huskers practice in front of Husker Nation Saturday night, the first thing that jumped out to me standing on the sideline was that it was Dylan Raiola who was leading them out of the tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
And people have questions about how much of that is normal, how much of that is organic, how much of that is forced, how much of that is too much. So I'll ask you, QB coach.
Yeah.
Can a freshman quarterback lead a program out of its darkness to prominence? Can that happen? Is that normal?
It's not normal. Can it happen? Yes. You just have to be a special human being. It can't be manufactured. Has to be authentic. But that, to answer your question, it can happen. It is not normal, but it has to be authentic.
What would make it authentic? Is it so you are the son of a coach? Your son is the son of a coach? Situations where young people are identified early, and there's a thing that identifies them as probably more likely to be able to lead.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of those things, Coach? What are the things that would help identify that if folks are looking at Dylan Raiola, Caleb Williams, that they look at and say, yeah, those are boxes that are checked that makes them more likely to be successful as a young quarterback?
Their preparation is so clear and so thorough, even at the young stages of their careers, that they just can't keep their mouth shut. And I mean that in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as everybody understands that this isn't somebody just opening their mouth because they put a certain number on him or he's getting paid a certain amount of money. If the teammates understand how thorough his preparation is, how authentic his desire to win is, then it becomes almost a requirement that you open your mouth, an expectation that you open your mouth. And as long as the teammates feel that you're getting on them about the right thing, correcting the action, whatever it is, not the person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Attacking because a route was missed, right? And you're the type of guy that thoroughly communicates, and they know that you thoroughly communicate what's going on. Those are the conditions in which it can happen in a young person. Now, the last part is, especially higher up that you go, that person better be able to play, right? He better be able to play. So it's kind of like, can he play first? That's what matters, because there's rife examples of people that aren't good people, but they can play. And at that level, it's transactional. Can you play? Can you help me win? Help me get my contract? Help me get to a bowl game? Okay, I'll put up with you. But the players have to be able to play. But then you're talking about the additional qualities beyond that, which are so important. His total preparation, total thorough understanding. And just for the young guys out there, this doesn't have to do with being perfect. This is not about being perfect. This is just that your preparation, the way you run your life on and off the field is so unmistakable in one direction that everybody around you understands exactly what you're about. And so when you get on the football field, if they're not doing something, somebody's not doing what they're supposed to do, it's acceptable for you to get on to somebody, because it's either going to be you or the coach, right? Yeah. You know it's coming, right? You know it's coming. So players kind of appreciate that. The other ones who are watching, players like to have people held accountable, right? They do. Players do. You can't tell me Jay Foreman doesn't like to have people held accountable, right? Yeah. Now, if he has a person on the field that's doing it, that makes Jay feel real good about what's going on. You got me? And
Yep.
so I didn't mean to talk too much, but yeah, it's a tough subject. Special human being that can do it at a young age.
Bro, this is talk radio.
Okay.
Take all you want. These folks hear me all week long. They're here for you, partner.
Yeah.
Take all the time you want. Through all of this, Barry, like a big part of this and what you're saying is that he's getting on people to lead them in the right direction.
Right.
In order to do that, he also, especially at quarterback,
Right.
they have to know where they're sending people. They have to know the direction. Like,
Right.
you can't tell people, you can't correct anybody if you don't know what you're correcting. Like,
Right.
you can't, right? How important is it, the fact that this is a statement of awareness, IQ, and knowledge in order to lead properly?
Yeah, I say many times there's no leadership without vision. So again, talking back to this young person, who's Caleb with? The Bears? Is that who he's with?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you look at that, it should be unmistakable. You know, he wants to win, take them to the Super Bowl, for example, or he wants to win the conference. Now, it's talking about it. That's pros and experienced players here have heard a lot of talks. Talks doesn't do it. Talks doesn't do it. But if they see how you carry yourself, and in Caleb's case, when are you at the facility? Just start with that. When do you show up for work? When do you leave work? And by the way, as much as it is important to be one of the guys, you shouldn't be where all the guys are hanging out all the time.
Ooh.
Right? Like,
Ooh. That's
not a good move. Can you be there sometimes? Yes, but you better be leaving early, right? And it better not be all the time, It's those little things. It's the actions that really add up to making the difference and adding to the authenticity. And then you just wind up looking at a person and you say, okay, what he said is accurate. Nobody likes to be berated, right? And in a sense, you're talking about being a coach, sort of, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the tactics that good coaches use is if they get on you about something, the good coaches, they'll get on you about it and they'll mean exactly what they said when they did it. But then they'll find a way to saddle up to you to make sure you understood that it was just about that, not about you, right?
Right.
And so that's another step. You can't always expect a young guy to do all of those steps, but that should be what's coming down the line. If you're going to put a guy out front like that and say, hey, he's our leader, he better be able to lead. He better be able to lead.
How important is it, Barry, to have a young man at that position who not only says it, he lives it, right? That's really the difficult part,
right? Is
everybody wants to win. In theory, everybody wants to win, but somebody has to work. Somebody has to be the standard bearer. We like to say, be careful who you attach your cart to.
Right.
It could be a jackass or a stud.
Right.
Be careful, because the bad choice puts you in the pit. It gets you in a ditch somewhere.
Right.
You have to know in advance before coach selects or allows the team to select a young quarterback as a leader. Fair?
Yeah, and I think the coach has to have understanding what it looks like. So that's where things can get tripped up too. He can look at his jawline and say he's big and square, he's a leader because he's a quarterback. Well, that's not true. Right. Going back in the Wayback Machine, if you were to do, say, a little bit of research on Peyton Manning, you would find out that when he was at the University of Tennessee, he was driving a Volkswagen, and the Volkswagen, he would hoard all the tapes because he didn't want his other quarterbacks to be able to watch the tapes as much as he was watching. He would do little things like lock the room, right? So that's giving you the indication behind the Saturday performance that you would see out of this guy. And that's a guy that your eyes are drawn to. So let me find out a little bit more about this guy. What kind of leader? And that must really mean an awful lot to him. Listen, we have a saying I heard it earlier this year, and it goes like this: elite is available. Elite is more available than you can possibly imagine. But when you show somebody all the steps that are required to be elite, including rearranging your life in this pursuit of excellence and being one of the best, there are a lot of talented people that are just going to go, no, that's not what I'm doing.
Right.
And so it's a rare person that will step onto that thing, and you show them that laundry list of things and they go, okay, all right, that's what I got to do. Okay, bet. Thanks for telling me. I'll see you on the podium. You got me?
Yep.
And so there's people who get the ball at quarterback who aren't like that, who don't fit that description. And then every now and then we get one that is like that. It doesn't happen often. Think about it. Mm-hmm. Think about the superlative quarterbacks that you've seen in the NFL. Not just good, superlative. Mm-hmm. It's few. Versus the other guys that you know that are really good. Man, he's talented. But they kind of up and down, right? Well, that's what that is.
We don't see bad young quarterbacks who are loud and not good.
No. Well, the Raiders had a few in the past, but yeah. But
think of how much work they had to do at the previous level to get to be bad in the NFL.
Yes.
Right? Like you had to build a resume of good at the next level and then just go be terrible because a box wasn't checked and you weren't able to correct it.
Yeah.
And it literally leads to the next question, is because sometimes the more important thing is the mental character sides rather than the physical side.
It is everything.
Right? Like everybody
it's everything.
At this level can throw the ball. Yeah. But what kind of heart do you have? How does your mechanism work in your brain? And then what's the thing that drives all this talent? And we miss that. And I think a big part of the two young people that we're talking about, mm-hmm. in Dylan Raiola and Caleb mm-hmm. Williams, is that it appears that there is some character and some drive and heart. And I think it matches or overrides the talent, which is both elite. Both of them throw football.
Right.
Both can spin it.
Yeah.
But it appears that both of them have a little bit of that dog work ethic and some character that'll drive them.
Well, let me bring it to your point. To buttress your point, I'll make 2 points. First of all, when you think of a superlative quarterback in the NFL, a superlative one. So mm-hmm. we're talking about 4. Brady.
There's 4.
Who?
There's 4.
Yeah. Okay, but think about it. There's not a lot of talk about their arms.
Right.
There's not a lot of talk about their arms.
Right.
It's a whole nother conversation. And to your point, my quarterbacks, when they get to be about 13, right, and they're heading into that freshman year and so forth around it because they don't have middle school football in all the counties, there's 2 things that I tell them. I said, one is, don't think that the competition is going to be fair. The competition at quarterback position is never fair. So here's the right standard that you have to use if you want to win this position. Don't ever think that because you're good as the next guy, that's going to go in your favor. It doesn't. So it's not fair. Don't think that. But the more important thing that I tell them, I said, you've reached a point in your life with this sport where your ability to prepare off the field, away from the field, is going to be way more important than what you can do physically. You'll come here, we'll talk about this physical stuff and get you right on that stuff, but it's not what's going to make the difference. It's what you're doing the 22 hours off the field, how you're running your life, and what you're doing in those hours that are going to determine how good a quarterback you want to be.
Yeah, and having that message delivered and then received.
Mm-hmm.
Received. Just there are a ton of coaches that'll tell you those things.
Yeah.
It is to make sure that you hear it and then you're ready to go. Like it's my those are those are 2 of my favorite words, the letters G and O. Listen, there are a bunch of people that have an idea about football or basketball or baseball. A lot of them that have a certain level of love for football, baseball. Mm-hmm. Some will do the work, but not many of them will go. Not many of them will take the lesson and then say, forward and up is next, and they'll get to work. I think it's a big thing. I think young quarterbacks need to have it.
And I have one more piece to that. I'm finding out because I'm working with young guys through old guys. I'm also finding everything that you just said, but sometimes they need to understand. Like, you can lay it out for them,
Mhm.
but they need that extra thing to kind of understand. Like, okay, I heard what you said, but it's not my English. Even though you spoke it clearly and communicated, it's not. I'll give you a great example. There's a little drill that we do. I've been doing it for years. I stole it from somebody. So if somebody's listening and you said you've been run, no, if you have, please tell me. I'll call it this drill. But it's a little drill called Office Space. And the idea of this drill is to get the quarterback to understand with his eyes up where pressure is coming from and how he should react it. Not being hit, but just things around his feet. And the idea that if I have something come to my ball side, I need to move up a little bit. If I want relief, I have to get myself out to where the pressure came from. Teaching them also how to do as little as possible to avoid the rush and all this stuff. And we do it from 4 different angles, right? A front side contain, back side contain, interior pressure from both sides, boom. And recently I'd been struggling because I couldn't get the kids to execute the drill properly. So finally, I just stopped. And this happened Sunday. And I'm bringing it back to this piece that they need help understanding. So I said to one of the kids who's played, I said, do you know what contain is? He said, no. So I had 10 kids in the session. I put 4 in the guard, 2 guards, 2 tackles. I put 4 in the tackle defensive end spots and put the quarterback behind them. And I was standing behind the quarterback and I would point, hey, just guide this guy into the ball, push the offensive player into the ball. And you should have seen the light bulbs go off, because even though I was explaining in the context of a football thing, I couldn't get them to do the drills right. And they would listen and they would kind of do it and not do it. But what was fundamentally lacking is so many of them hadn't been in that pocket, right? It was never like that. So I was talking some foreign language to them. And I think a lot of times when you're talking to a young person about excellence, right? You said we can put that out. Say, hey, he says, I want to be good. And you say, okay, here's what you have to do. But man, they need that little extra understanding. They're going to ask that extra question, and that has to be explained to them, and then they can go.
It really is the thing. The coaching adage is this: when chaos happens, slow down, and
Yes.
chaos
Yes.
ceases to exist.
Yes.
And in basketball and baseball, we would always say in rundowns, in trap defenses, zone breakers, etc., press break, red light, green light.
Yeah.
When pressure starts to show up, stop.
Yeah.
And then tell me what you see.
Yeah. Possess that ball, baby. Possess that ball.
It's a really thing. Listen, if you feel pressure, throw the pressure. They can't be in 2 places. Those are always the rules. Barry Thompson joins us here on 101. We'll be right back to 93.7 The Ticket.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store. You're listening to One-on-One with DP on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now, through August 11th, enjoy USDA Choice Whole Ribeye Loin for $10.99 per pound, all-natural thick-cut Iowa chops for $1.99 per pound, hand-cut extra meaty loin back ribs for $3.99 per pound, and Dungeness crab clusters for $19.99 per pound. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
If your car has sent you to the sidelines, Eustace Body Shop can help. With gold-class certified technicians, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop is your best choice this Husker season. And with 6 locations across central and eastern Nebraska, we've got you covered, whether you're rooting at home or you're headed to Memorial Stadium. Get a free online quote at EustaceBodyShop.com, and let's get you back in the game.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at PAHLincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends. Come enjoy a show of the Midwest's best MMA on Saturday, August 10th at the Complex, the former location of Champions Fun Center. 9 fights are scheduled for the night, including professional lightweight and welterweight bouts and the main event of Donnie Bush versus Micah Washington in the professional welterweight championship bout. Doors open at 6 p.m. with first bout at 7 p.m. Learn more about the MMA fighters and buy tickets at thecomplexlincoln.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here. I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy.
Protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
The Nebraska legislature will soon meet in special session and may consider a vote to raise consumer prices by imposing a sales tax on advertising. Nebraska's small businesses would be hit hardest, forcing them to raise prices, meaning we'd all pay more for the things we need. Contact your state senator and tell them no ad tax. Visit noadtaxnebraska.com to find your senator's contact information.
Everyone
That's
should have
noadtaxnebraska.com. A message from the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays. The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
On the Block with Strick and Austin.
If it was the Big Ten and the SEC and the Big 12 and the ACC's idea to kick back to grow the game at lower levels, we wouldn't have these conversations. Right. But because the NCAA is asking them to do that, it feels like they're getting their wallet stolen, money taken out of it, and it's not their idea, so they're against it.
Yeah. Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
You're listening to One on One with DP, sponsored by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
One on the ticket. Again, 402-464-5685. You want to be a part of what we're doing. We thank the folks at Allo Fiber for allowing us to stream. Our friends and family for making this happen. The folks on Facebook, YouTube, X, however you're consuming. And if you're on Amazon Prime, kudos. Bravo. Well done. YouTube as well. However you're going to handle us and be a part of what we're doing. Greatly appreciate it. Barry, it is a simple deal, right? That in what happens in preseason, the work of what you've done in the improvement season shows up.
Absolutely.
What's more important, the work done in the improvement season or the 15 days of training camp?
They're both important. It's what you're bringing to the party. And then you just want to see an increased kind of level of proficiency and an increased understanding of how and when to execute, right? And then you're looking for the consistency of both of those elements. And that takes its own type of practice. You can't kind of get to those two elements unless you have the fundamentals down, right? Are you mechanically sound? Are you fit? Are you stronger? Are you faster, right? Have you prepared? Do you know your offense? Do you know your defense, right? Have you studied a little bit of maybe some of the opponents, studied defenses? I think that's a big mistake that young offensive players make, is they don't spend the offseason studying defenses. You need to spend the offseason studying your opponent, which is a defense. If you're hearing a term about match quarters or 33 double cloud or, fire zone blitz or whatever the term is, and you don't know what it is, part of your offseason should be dedicated to finding out how that works. Because the great thing about defense from an offensive perspective is that they're always giving up something. No matter how they align, there's something that's going to give them difficulty. They got to live with it. They'll coach it. If this happens, this is what we're doing. But we're not in the strongest position when we're lined up like that to defend this. And as an offensive player, you need to know that stuff, right? That's step one. Step two is now you got to get a feel for when stuff is being called, right? Defenses, offensive players cry about it all the time. They know what we're running. We need to change our plays. Well, they did their homework. You should know what they're running, right? So that part of it. So there's so many different levels to it. Like I said, the work isn't for everybody, but it is one of those positions that the better that you get at it, the bigger the job becomes. And so it's a lot of stuff. So don't take your fourth grader out there and try to jam all the stuff in his head. But just know that this is the path, right, that he's going to continue on. It's going to be beyond him being able to throw the ball and, doing that stuff. So, yeah, you got to bring some funk to the party in these 5 days practice, right? It's supposed to be about executions, being sharp. And then now the coaches can dig into the details of it.
Here's where, and there's, I'm in a sequence of questions. From the quarterback position, especially for young quarterbacks, and it doesn't matter what level this young quarterback is playing at, all of these things in play. How difficult is it and how important is it for the young quarterback to know and be comfortable with his offensive line? Like to know, okay, where the windows are, right? Because we know we know that sometimes, the guard sometimes, he's better at kicking out. He's not so good at full rush. So I'm probably going to have to step up if I'm trying to through his window.
TP, like I said last time, I was funny. I was thinking about the show, and I really had a unique experience this weekend. Like I told you, with that office space drill and the thing I was talking about. And that's kind of what you're talking about. It dawned on me that they didn't really know what was going on in front of them. And it is really important that you do have an understanding of what's going on in front of you. You may not know exactly how to block power. You should eventually, but you should know why you want to run power. When I was here comes the old man stories. Ready? Here comes the old man stories. When I was playing quarterback and calling my own plays, I didn't know exactly how everything was being blocked, but I did understand the purpose of trap. I did understand the purpose of a draw play. I did understand, we ran a kind of dive thing. I understood why we wanted to run that. And not only did I understand it, I understood how to use those things to fix a problem. If I was getting penetration, I knew that I had a left guard named Chris Lloyd that would knock the crap out of somebody, and he would fix the problem for me. And so it's just having that kind of understanding from a run game. From a pass perspective, different protections shape the pocket differently, right? So sometimes with young guys, you watch the Chiefs play, and Andy Heck is a big proponent of getting 3-on-2, right? So he has the center and the two guards set the depth of the pocket. How far back are these guys getting into your lap? And then in their protection, the tackle set the width of the pocket. So when you see Patrick Mahomes do a lot of up and out, it's a reflection of his pocket because those are where the escape routes are. Now, there's other protections with a half man, man on one side, slide on the other. Well, surprisingly, you're going to have your windows to the man side. But surprisingly, on this one, you'll have a backside B gap escape a lot of the times because that zone side will continue to push and push and push this way. And so when you turn, it's that backside B gap that's going to be open. So quarterbacks do have to have an understanding of some fundamental things, why you're running the play. And then as you get older, there's the play and there's the play caller. You want to get to know the play caller, right? How is he thinking about the game? How does he use certain things to solve problems? You really want to start to understand the play caller.
There's so much in quarterback play. There is all the pre-snap work, mental work, understanding. And then there's the snap of the ball and everything that happens immediately following ball snap.
There's a time constraint to each of those factors.
Yep. I need for you to go through it because Barry,
okay,
it's a monster.
It is.
Play call sent in.
Right.
Quarterback with down and distance, personnel on the field.
Right.
Persistence,
Right. Yeah. And at the
All that
NFL level, at the end of there's a thing going on with Matt. I think it's Matt Stafford. There's a loose where you can hear the microphone, and whoever's calling the play is just going on and on. He scratches the play, and you hear Stafford go, "Okay, I got it." Well, in that West Coast style of language, the calls can get lengthy. So I'm just taking to another point to make your point. Yeah. Sometimes with those quarterbacks, they have to know the call so well because sometimes it will start late and it gets cut off. So they have to know what the rest of the call is. It's a level that you want to understand. But yes, you get the call. It's going through your head. Now you break the huddle, and you have generally about 6 to 8 seconds on a full clock to kind of scan and pre-snap. If you have a full clock, if there's 15 seconds left on the clock, you do have time to send guys in motion. That time constraint has to be understood. If you get to the line, there's 8 seconds. You don't have a lot of time to adjust somebody. So now there's a different calculation that goes off in your head. So all that has to be practiced under a time constraint and various time constraints, right? If I have a play that involves, like I think I said last week, like green right X, shift to Viper right, 382 X stick looky, right? So it involves a shift. Maybe I get the call late and I line up in green right X and there's 8 seconds on the clock. Well, I'm not going to have enough time to shift to Viper right and then make my call. So now I got to make a quick check to run something out of green right X, right? Ready. It's appropriate for that down and distance. That constraint. The other time constraint that you have is once the ball snapped. Generally, you have about 1.3, 1.4 seconds to confirm whether that decision was correct, because by 1.5, you need to be throwing the ball. If you're not going to throw it, then that also needs to be practiced, right? So we pull out the QBTs. Shout out to QBT. We put out the QBTs, and we'll start quarterbacks off with, say, 2 seconds and asking them to get to 5 yards and be perfectly still until they can get there till at 1.5 they can be perfectly still, right? And now we can execute a pass. Well, now you can do that now. Now I'm going to put a guy in front of you who's a receiver, and I'm going to put a guy in front of you who's a defender. So the defender can do whatever he wants, but I got to evaluate him post and pre-snap. So all of those things have to be practiced with quarterbacks. There are some who just kind of get there on their own, but the more that you can help them understand the time constraints, the time in which they have to do things, they tend to relax a little bit. They tend to relax a little bit and play a little bit better.
Barry, a big part of the post-snap is that play calls with situation, circumstance, down and distance.
Yes.
Rhythm of the game, all those
Yeah.
things, personnel on the field.
Yes.
Play call comes in, and then there's this thing that young quarterbacks have to deal with, which is if the play that's called doesn't work.
There you go.
Then then what part for young quarterbacks is the difference maker between success and failure.
Right. And so that's the part that I was talking about. You have to understand why the play is being called, right? Because let me give you a concept you see a lot in the NFL. You see a concept called Hank in the NFL. It's a curl flat on either side, and somebody over top of the ball. Many ways to get there. It's a horizontal stretch of the defense at about 12 yards, right? Mm-hmm. So why is that play being called, right? So you have to understand within the context of your offense, why are we calling Hank right now? Well, we're calling Hank right now because it's a pretty short completion thing. We're going to put the defense at a little bit of disadvantage because they have to kind of choose what side they're going to defend, and it leaves them short on the other side. It's a play designed to get about 10 to 12 yards. So now if that play breaks down, right, I have to understand. Maybe I'm supposed to read it in my system from short to long, right? But I see somebody squatting short, and I've got to change my progression and go right long to short, right? Because the objective of the play is to get to 10 yards. Or I see that I've got a backer coming, right? And the other flat side, the back, I got one coming, I got a back out on the back, so you can take the other back. So all of a sudden the middle field's open, right? So I have to adjust. I can't stick with my progression, right? How am I going to handle that situation, right? And then there is the variable that quarterback trainers and all that stuff you can't practice, which is somebody gets whooped at the line of scrimmage. I mean, you're ready to make your play. All right, so where are you getting out to? And now bringing it back to your basketball analogy, right? I'm hot. I'm hot. There's somebody, like, what do I want to do, right? Yep. If I'm in plus territory and it's third and 8, right? I'm going to be okay with third and I'm going to be okay with 4th and 3. I am. I don't have to throw the ball up, depending on what the time is. I'm all right, right? Maybe we go for it on 4th and 3 right now, or maybe we kick a field goal. I don't have to spit the ball up. Conversely, if I'm in minus territory, hey, I don't want to, you know what I mean? I don't want to do anything. I want to
give it away.
Right. Yeah, don't give it away. Right? So those things are all important. And you're right. It is a bear. But in some senses, it's the same types of things that all players have to understand inside of their position, right? They have to be every bit as prepared. They have to know their play well, what their role is within the play. They have to have a set of tools that if it goes wrong, if it's not drawn up the way, if they don't line up in a 4-eye technique, but I've been told all week they're going to be a 4-eye, but he shades differently and I still got to run the play. What is my adjustment to doing that? He's a bigger guy than I am. He's a smaller guy. He's a quicker guy than I am. All players on the field have those adjustments. The difference is the quarterback has this time constraint that's constantly going on, and he has to operate within it.
Barry, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to go to another factor in this thing, that we understand play call, situation, circumstance, down and distance, understanding your line, open windows to throw to. But there is a communication that young quarterbacks have to have with the dudes who catch the ball. We'll talk about that when we come back to One-on-One with Barry Thompson.
Stevens & Smith Construction is a full-service, employee-owned concrete company that specializes in residential and commercial foundations and flat work. They've been a leader in the concrete industry since 1971, with nearly 250 employees combining for more than 2,000 years of service. With locations in Lincoln, Omaha, and Kansas City, they're united in quality, integrity, and professionalism to create excellence in construction. Learn more today at stevensandsmith.com.
Announcing Acres' end of summer sales event. Acres has dropped its prices on select late model John Deere tractors, combines, and corn heads. Act now and upgrade your equipment before harvest season. Trade in your old equipment today and get unbelievable discounts that could save you over $100,000. With great financing options and our A-plus support, there's no better time to buy. Visit your local Acres store or see the huge savings at acres.com. That's AKRS.com to see the best prices in the nation.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation right now at appliedconnective.com.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports is quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Ready to add a dash of Southern flavor to your week? At Wings and Rings, their brand new Southern fried wings have arrived for a limited time. Indulge in the irresistible goodness of large, traditional bone-in wings coated in a crispy beer batter and fried to perfection. Try them with hot honey or any other sauces. And for those busy summer days coming up, look no further than their Southern Fried Wings Family Bundle. Wings and Rings, 2 Lincoln locations on O Street or Village Lane.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, 2-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
As a proud member of the Roofing and Solar Reform Alliance, Coalition Restoration stands out by providing thorough property assessments, personalized customer service, and top-notch craftsmanship. With years of experience in the industry, Coalition Restoration has built a notable reputation for having a team filled with skilled professionals and possessing the expertise to handle any roofing project, big or small. Visit their website today for a free roof assessment at www.coalitionrestoration.com or give them a call at 402-607-8186. Your business runs like a well-oiled machine. It's important that your actual machines do too. Stern is here to make sure you don't have to worry about that. They provide solutions for heavy equipment and automotive fuels, lubricants, and equipment guard options. And with Stern's commitment to customer service for the past 40 years, you know you have a partner to help support your operations for years to come. Contact Roger at Stern Company by calling 1-800-477-2744 or visit them online at stern.co. Stern Company, where problems meet solvers.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
Liberty Law Group is committed to the defense of liberty for those accused and the pursuit of justice for those injured. Liberty Law Group's relentless trial attorneys specialize in criminal defense and personal injury law. We believe in treating every client with respect, compassion, and understanding. We know that navigating the legal system is stressful and overwhelming, but Liberty Law Group will carry that burden for you. When you're facing legal issues, make the right call. 877-42-LIBERTY. That's 877-42-LIBERTY.
Ready to score big with your projects? Look no further than Edward Stone, the MVP of natural stone for over 2 decades. Edward Stone is cranking out over 30,000 square feet every week and offers a winning lineup of over 70 quality natural veneer stone selections. Their unbeatable variety and experienced team will ensure your project is a success, whether it's a home renovation or a commercial build. And hey, they're not just about stone. They've got an all-star lineup of fireplaces, cast stone, brick, and much more. Swing by one of their locations in Lincoln or Omaha today and experience the Edward Stone difference, your reliable choice for over 20 years.
You're listening to One-on-One with DP, sponsored by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Final segment before we hand it over to Chancellor Brewington on a Monday night. Greatly appreciate it.
The morning Pierceville first, then we got Brewington.
DPE
Yep,
and
DPE.
then change. That's a pretty good lineup. Wow. I don't know. Back in the day, I wouldn't have mind being the third option for that group. Hey, Barry, you throw into DeMornay and Chancellor, and then I'm just your possession guy.
I still got in my pocket a DeMornay story from when we were at Woodson.
You need to get him. You need to get on his and have him on here. One of the weeks that I'm not going to be here, get DeMornay to come.
I have 3 DeMornay stories that how I was introduced to him. It was crazy. 3.
I told Harrison several.
Yeah.
Of him. One, just us throwing in the end zone with DeMornay at safety, and literally all of us going in slow motion, going no.
So I think I can do this in 6 seconds. My 2 introduction. One time I was watching film, and I saw, as a quarterback, he's at quarterback at the time, and I'm watching the film, and I'm clicking at who we should be throwing to, and blah 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 blah. And I watch the film, and then he takes off and runs, and I go, well, what was he looking at? And I ran back the film again. I go, oh, that joker knew it was man. He was just waiting for them to get all the way down the field. And the other one, it was at Fairfax. I know he remembers it. Fairfax decided that the way they were going to contain him was essentially, I don't know, like rush like 2 people and have 9 people spread out across the field. Well, it took him about 2 seconds to figure that out. Right. He gets the ball. He runs all the way to the wide side, and they were taught not to go after him, just slide with him, right?
Yeah.
So they all slide to the left. The morning slides to the right, and none of them jokers could catch him. And I got one in my pocket.
He'd find one sucker.
Yeah.
Who didn't hold contain.
Yeah.
And then he'd go bang his head on the goalpost. And we knew those coaches, and we just went like to think about it in retrospect. It really wasn't fair for DeMornay to play against the people, the coaches he was playing against. Forget about the players. But DeMornay playing because they had never seen a DeMornay Piersonell.
They hadn't. They thought they had an answer too. That Fairfax thing, I knew they thought they had the answer. Hey, this is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna keep him under 100. He just did it. What's that doing? Slide to the left. He went running to the right. Anyway. So
and in the mud, watching him, Gale Sayers, plant the foot and change direction was just one of the most impressive athletic things. Yeah. But he and I have laughed about it so many times that it was just like, oh.
And by the way, those are just the ones that we've seen, right?
Yeah.
There's 10 more teams that got nightmare scenarios.
No, the funny thing was watching them against Lake Braddock. And on this Braddock team, so Dejon Lee, who went to the Naval Academy and then ended up leading the country in offensive yardage at
Delaware.
He led the country in total offense as a running back, and then he went to the USFL. So but he was playing corner and slot, and then they had maybe the greatest physical specimen as a high school athlete that I'd ever seen in AJ Alexander. Now the quarterback went to North Carolina.
Caleb Henderson went to Carolina, then finished up Maryland. Yeah.
So on this one team, AJ Alexander started at Ohio State as a tight end.
Yeah.
And their 2 safeties were these guys. And on the field, they're trying to wrangle DeMornay Pierson-El. And I'm just telling you, I've never had more fun just watching teams go at each other because the talent was so unique and so special. So, here are the rules. We know this about Barry Thompson. There's no way we can get to everything in an hour. We never do. We never have. We never will. Barry, thank you, kind sir.
All right, baby.
We'll do it again next week, baby.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
That is Barry Thompson, Fairfax Football Academy. You can catch him here every Monday. And as we head to football season, there'll be more. We'll get him on Old School as well. Don't go anywhere. DPE, don't punt. The Don't Punt Hour coming up here on the Ticket, 93.7 FM.